Welcome. This is the Raleigh Municipal Light Board Commissioners Meeting of September 24th, 2014. Just as a reminder, this meeting is being audio and video recorded digitally. Our first agenda item is Citizens Query, which will be from 7 p.m. to 7:10 p.m. The second agenda item is review and accept minutes from previous meeting. And we have the minutes for the August 20th, 2014 Commissioners meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Mm-hmm. And if so, is there any questions, issues, or changes to be made?
See none.
No.
Mr. Chairman, I'll give you a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, I have a motion.
And I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes from August 20th, 2014. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Bob, if you wouldn't mind signing that copy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. This is the copy, isn't it? Or is it?
That is the copy, yes.
Okay. I thought it was my copy.
You both?
Thank you,
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Dan. Okay, item number 3, review current information from cost of service rate study.
First of all, let me apologize for the amount of paperwork I'm going to hand out. But it is a rather long. There's 40 pages to each year, and there's 5 years here. So,
Okay.
yeah.
There you go, Ken. Happy reading.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome, Bob.
Eric, do you want a copy? Might as well hang out here for a second. I've got a few more. And I think, I'm not sure if they're in order, but you'll see the year in the top left corner in red.
Okay.
So you have 18.
2018 right here?
Yep, so I'll hand out 17 and we'll go backwards, so you have the newest
Okay.
one on top.
Okay.
Thank you.
69.
Thank you.
Last but not least.
Thank you,
You
Bob.
can use that copy for the minutes, Eric. So at our last meeting, we had Mr. Lymaster in to talk about the cost of service study.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically gave you an information packet that looked very similar to this. And basically the only real difference between what he handed out and what I just gave you is in this one, he has bundled the rates,
Okay.
which if you turn to page 2 on the top set, you'll see that in the column near the top of the page is a bunch of red numbers.
Yeah.
Those red numbers represent what he has bundled together, because right now we don't have unbundled rates. And we had discussed that at the last commissioners meeting.
Yep.
We wanted to make sure that we kept our rates bundled. So what you see there in red is bundled into the bold figure right below that top red number. So that would be the total rate of 1537. And all those red numbers are what that is comprised of.
Okay,
And as you go through the different rate classes, you'll see that it's basically the same on each page.
this is the page, first page is the residential, right?
The residential, yes.
Small general.
The second page is the small general, medium general, and then the large general. He's very very thorough in what he's done for us currently. I believe in the next few weeks he should be finished. And I can't say, since our commissioners meeting is late this month, I can't say that he's going to be done before the October meeting.
Okay,
Since it's only 2 weeks away,
Yep.
well, 2.5 weeks away. So I would say that we would be probably looking at the final rate study at the November meeting,
okay,
and we could look at that, and at that time, meet with Bruce, discuss the final version of the study, and then act on recommendations. Not act on recommendations at that time, because we have to have a public meeting.
public hearing, yeah.
Right, before we do any
Sure.
action as far as the rates go.
Okay,
But I wasn't planning on going through all this paperwork tonight.
thank you.
I will,
Give us a homework assignment.
yes, if you have any questions though, please ask, and, I'll do my best to answer them.
Yeah,
But there is a lot of information here,
yeah.
but
Say so.
keep in mind that, what we're looking at is the basic information as I highlighted, and the red numbers is the rates.
Yeah.
Increasing from one year to the next year. And you'll see that going if you look from year to year in the different papers, the different packets that I handed out.
Dan, would that be the only, what's in red, would that be the only thing that you would want us to key in on? Or is there any other particular item that you feel that we should look at?
The revenue, the increases in revenue compared to, let's take an example. Let me just look at this real quick. You'll see at on page 2, towards the bottom of the page, there is the 2014 cost-based rates in the first column. The second is the 2014 proposed rates,
Yes.
and those are projected revenue and current revenue figures.
Okay.
If you want to look at those and compare them to the 2015 numbers and then the 2016 numbers, you'll get a
Okay.
good idea as far as what the projections are from year to year.
Okay.
And I was also focused on the energy pieces he has on the back. I believe the page is not numbered, so it's a little. This will cost of service rate here, test your edge. Operating maintenance. The power supply piece of the study is on page A11 of 14, which is, the numbers are in the top right corner of the graph on each page.
A11 or 14?
Okay. Those are the power supply numbers that he's using for the cost of service study.
Those are the ones in red?
Those are the ones in red, yes. I believe he's actually increased the numbers.
Dan, I'm looking at that A11 of 14. The figures in 2018 compared to 2014, those numbers are the same, stay the same?
They stay the same? Let me,
Yeah, right down through the list, Dan, up from 13, 15, 17, and then 14, 16, 18 are all the same.
I'm just wondering if I gave you the wrong page to look at.
I'm not quite sure what he's trying to say here, but
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, he didn't change the projected power cost over year. I'll have to call him and ask him about that.
Okay.
And that may be something he does change when the final study comes out.
okay.
But I will email him
Sure.
and ask him about that.
And I would assume at some point he would put it down as cost per kilo an hour.
For the wholesale power cost?
Yeah. So I don't have to see that on
I believe he does, 812, if you flip to the next page.
A12. I'll get A12, 14 here. He's got,
Looking across, he has dollar per megawatt hour.
it's A12 or A11?
812.
A12, okay.
In the first, just below the red lines,
Yeah, right in here.
you'll see the 213 actual.
Yep,
You'll see that the dollar per megawatt hours for energy purchased
yep,
gives you, I believe that's the total amount for the year.
okay.
So it'd be $98 per megawatt hour, or 9 cents, almost 10 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay. Good thing I went back and got my glasses. I'd have been lost.
You noticed over the years the print gets smaller?
Absolutely. My arms got shorter, too. So from the looks of things, yeah, it's holding pretty much the same. And actually, on this particular page also, as Bob had mentioned, it's, it's not quite the same amount, I guess, but it does hit from 13 to 14. And then after that, it stays the same.
Right, he didn't vary the kilowatt hours consumed.
Okay. So I'm assuming that, there again, that'll be the final product, will show that.
Those are the questions I can ask him.
Okay.
So basically, when I'm looking between 14 to 18, is that there's no, he's not foreseeing an increase in energy cost? Or,
I think he's just projecting it ahead from that point because he doesn't have data.
okay.
So we have some data for 14, so he's kind of projecting that out, I think. Actually, it's actual data for 13 that he used. 10, 11, 12, and 13. And he's projecting 14, and then from there on it goes 15, 16, 17, and 18. So that's all kind of speculation at that point.
You know, I would think with, coal-fired plants coming offline, and then unless there's gonna be a number of gas-fired coming online to take their place, but I would think gas is more expensive than coal
Only certain times of the year.
at certain times of year.
Most of the time, well, 8 months out of the year, it's probably cheaper.
Yeah. Mm.
It only gets expensive in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. Only because supply is so
Low.
constrained.
Yeah,
In
well,
the
we
wintertime.
gotta get that pipeline down in Canada.
Yeah, good luck. I don't know where that's gonna go, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it's been talked about for a long, long time.
Mhm.
I understand that, they want coal production to end, but they don't wanna put, pipelines in
Yeah.
to give us more energy, so.
Back in the 60s, it was Dickey Lincoln School. That was a hydro project up in Maine.
Okay.
And we're the only region of the country that does not have a federal highway project. Federal dam project, water project,
Hmm.
hydroelectric. And they fought it pretty hard, and Maine finally just voted against it. Their senator and some representative at the federal level finally got it voted down. It was the Dickey Lincoln School, they called it, because that's where they were going to put it. There's a little town up there called Dickey Lincoln.
Okay.
So it never came about. I'm not giving away my age, am I?
No.
Okay. Then, of course, I shouldn't digest from this, digress from this. That's the Ipswich nuclear plant.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all.
It's when Seabrook started to come about.
Oh, okay.
And of course, that was an investor-owned utility. So the municipals got together in Massachusetts and came up with the Ipswich nuclear power plant. And it was going to go down on the marsh side of Ipswich, which would be the northeast end of the town, which would have probably been able to see it from here. And they put quite a bit of, had public hearings and drew up designs and architectural shows of it and all that kind of stuff, and put out brochures and had meetings with all the different communities, and it was, in the very end, it turned out to be a scam.
Oh, wow.
Contrived and done on purpose, but to just compete with Seabrook.
Wow.
It was just a kind of more or less a cover-up type.
The cover-up.
Yeah.
Distraction.
Yeah, yeah. So it was never really intended to be built at all, but it looked really real at the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. So. Let's see, I'm on the rates. So I'm assuming, Dan, that most of this is probably pretty much the same, except for the projections in 14.
Yes.
So if we kind of look through, that's first one, which is 14.
You gotta get an idea on the rates, and then, you know, if he does, well, when he does finish, we'll probably have an updated version of the same thing again.
Same thing again, okay.
Mhm.
So that, you don't see anything else in there, Bob, that you might think you wanna
No,
get some more information on? Ken, do you see anything that popped out at you?
I think that's it for now, Bob. Let's see anything else.
You didn't see anything that jumped out at you, did you?
No,
No, okay.
no,
No, I think we got a couple of questions in Dan.
Yeah, yeah,
Check
well,
with-
he's got
with
that.
Bruce and
Mhm.
see where we
I
can
can
go.
see what you're talking about, that, you know, the numbers haven't changed in some of that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's probably an easy answer.
Well, I think it's just, it is basically a projection, and he doesn't want to really come up with something because he doesn't have any firm figures.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just
Yeah.
kind of based on probably what's changed in the last 3 years or so before that, because that's where he seems to be. He started in 14 and ran out to 18,
Mm.
so. And I'm sure at this point, he's probably got 14 pretty much figured out because we're almost through the year,
Right.
so. Okay. So is there anything else you need to add, Dan, or?
No, I'm
No.
good with that.
Okay.
That's some homework there, though.
Well, Ken, you know when you're sitting there and there's really nothing good on TV,
Hey, I go out back, I got plenty to do out there.
you just kind of pick up on these, you know,
Yeah.
just memorize it, and then
There you go.
You'll be all set.
If you want, put them all together.
The damn television, there's nothing on but ads.
Okay. So the next agenda item, unless you got something else you want to talk about on rates,
No,
okay, we can go to the update on O&M and capital budget.
Thank you.
Well, if you want, do you want to hand out the capital as well, or you just want to start with the O&M?
It's up to you how you want to present it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to do this one first, that's
Sure.
fine.
I'll give you a moment to look it over before we.
Sales are down a little, huh?
mm,
And this is as of July 31st.
Okay, so we're about just over half a year,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't, at that cut point, isn't too bad. Because, I mean, particularly commercial or residential sales, you know, we're at 18 now, and it was budgeted for 3 or 30. So, I mean, that's pretty much half.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's not as bad as it appears.
And August is typically a good month for us. So you'll see a large, and then we'll tape it off after August.
Yeah. Yeah, but then the heating season starts, so we begin to pick up a little bit there too,
Mm-hmm.
so.
It was a cool month too, August. So, nothing much
September
use.
was pretty cool. I mean, September was
Yeah.
also, so, I mean, it is kind of different. I know my furnace started.
We have 3 days over 90 this year? That was it?
I think they finally get up to 5,
Did it get up to 5? Okay. But still, I mean, that's,
somewhere in that area there. I'm not sure, but. So even the purchase power cost looks like it's pretty much online. It looks a little bit high, but not too bad.
Yeah, and that, the August numbers will make it go up a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's usually September, October, November is when the heating starts, it drops off
Yeah.
quite a bit after that.
Daylight changes and more lights are on and that kind of stuff, so.
Mhm.
No, it looks pretty good then. It really does.
The numbers are about what we expect right now
Yeah.
for the end of July. We are looking on the bottom of the first page. Our profit or loss is looking like a large loss right now. I did raise the PPA again this month by
Okay.
another 0.5 cent. We're roughly discounted about 15 cents right now, which is comparable with the other local municipalities.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes. We may need to adjust a little more on the next couple of months. I'm not looking to make money, but I'm looking to just decrease that loss to maybe a small positive number or even close to zero as we can get it.
Okay.
I I think we're doing fine. I'm not worried about that number. You know, I'm not sure how you feel about the budget process and the actual fact that we're showing a loss of 320,000 right now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really artificial at this point because we're not through the year. I think at the end of the year, if it looked like that, then we might have some concern.
Okay.
But this is mid-year and, you know, things, because of the weather particularly, it's been kind of crazy. Even last winter it was crazy, and now it's even this summer. I mean, I never even put my air conditioner in.
You should.
Yeah, I know. You want that profit
You want
to
that
come up.
number to go up. So.
Wow.
But yes, no, I totally understand. I agree with what you're saying. It's very weather dependent. A cool summer our sales tend to be down. So,
Yeah.
and on the second page on the expense account detail, I think we're looking really well right now. I don't see anything that jumps out at me, and please, ask me if you see anything that jumps out at you that would be concerning. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there are a couple of things that I need to get a handle on, and one, the first negative number, the miscellaneous distribution expenses.
Mhm.
That the 588 account is an account that is used for, lack of a better term, rainy days, hot days, used for employees that are working around the shop on a rainy day when they're not outside,
Mhm.
Yep.
doing maintenance work in the building. But it also, what I need to do is look at that more closely and say, can this be expensed in a different way as of, maybe they changed the oil in the trucks today. I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
Yeah.
But that should be categorized a little bit differently. If they worked on putting streetlights together and they just had it on 588 for 8 hours, those are the type of things that we can break that down a little bit more and recategorize that a little bit so
Yeah.
we see the expense where it should be. And that's just on me, just to keep
Right.
track of the guys.
Yeah. And there again, we're mid-year, so it's
Mhm.
could very well change.
It's really hard, miscellaneous distribution expenses. And I remember we called it non-productive work. And I mean, but there is work to do.
Yes.
But it doesn't come down under a labor code. That's the problem.
That's right.
But there is work to be done.
Yeah, and typically we do, restock the trucks and
Right.
do all that kind of stuff when you had the time to do it, rather than taking it from a good day where you could do outside work,
Right.
clean up the shop, paint bolts, rethread them, paint them again,
Yep.
put them back out there. We used to do that all the time.
We still do.
And, non-productive work is really an oxymoron to me because you're always doing something.
Yeah.
Right.
Dan, looks good.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
really
you.
good.
All right, I'll hand out the full budget.
Thank you.
Yep.
This is also July 1?
This is also as of July 31. And I should.
Dan, what's the, on this transportation 392
Yep.
account?
That's vehicles.
Is that gasoline and fuel?
No, as a capital expense, it would be for a vehicle, like my new car that we just purchased this
okay.
year. That
Alright.
would be for that.
Okay.
The actual gas would be in the 933 account, which is an expense account.
Oh, okay.
Considering, Dan, it's basically the first full year that we've had, right? Coming up on this.
Capital budget, this
Yeah.
is the first year, yes.
Yeah, so I mean,
Mm.
you did pretty good guesswork. You really did. I mean,
Thank you.
it doesn't look bad at all. And we know why the street light is up, because we've been changing to the LEDs.
And the town square project, or the
Yeah.
town common
Town
project.
common-
That's
common
all, that's
project.
all in there
All
as
in there,
well.
the same, no wonder it's so high, yeah.
Dan, what's the percentage of streetlights we've done so far?
Oh,
Ballpark.
ballpark? 15% maybe,
Yeah,
10%?
I'd say that's a good.
10 to 15%?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's not that much. We're changing them right now as of ballast burns out. We're putting up new lights,
Right.
and the list that the selectmen approved. We're doing that as well. But as bulbs burn up, we're using inventory with bulbs and not quite
Sure.
changing them out that way.
Yeah,
But
came out that way. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
At least we don't get stuck with a whole bunch of bulbs we can't do anything with.
Mhm.
Although I wish I had some of the little Champion group replacement ones left. 92 watt.
The incandescent?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old one we converted. In 1955, I know you remember it well,
Yeah.
the two hurricanes that came almost 2 weeks apart,
Yep.
it wiped out the Surrey streetlight system. And the town, I wasn't even working for them at that time. I remember the storms, but. So they decided just to take it down, and they put up all independent lighting.
And that was a serious.
And that was the series.
Series system.
The series system. We get rid of that and put the multiple system in, and we went to that fixture, and it had a socket with a plug on it. And you had what we call a cherry picker. It's probably still one of the tools up in the attic down there.
Yeah.
And you grab the socket and pull it out. And you screw the bulb in and then push it back up in. Now on the series side, you did exactly the same thing, except you put an onion skin between the contacts before you put it in the fixture. So that when the bulb burned out on the series system, it would shot out the onion skin and keep the circuit
And
going.
keep the circuit going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit different design light, and then we started putting the photoelectrics on it,
Yep.
photo cells to turn them on and
Right.
off. So,
Yeah. I don't know where you'd find any of those bulbs anymore.
well, it was made by Champion Light, which was down the lane,
Okay.
and they were super bulbs. I mean, they last forever. They really were. And so when I started working for them, they pretty much were gone. We had some of those, but when we started replacing those, we replaced them with the Mercury, the Wheeler type head, the flat,
Yeah.
almost like a Cobra headlight. And we did a lot of those, and then came along, the sodium came along, so we went to that, and started doing that too. But we were one of the first utilities in the area to start using the incandescent in 55, 54, 55. Everybody else was still in the series.
The old flat steel fixtures with the ribs on them.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, those all get taken down, and some of them, there's still some brackets left on poles around, you know, I see them
Yeah.
every once in a while. So,
Line transformers, we've had some, we'd gone in, if I remember right, there was a number of transformers to be replaced, that's what that is, right?
Yes, and these are transformers that we keep on our books. There are ones in town that will, for instance, there's one that we need to be replaced, but it's actually a customer-owned transformer.
Okay.
That would be purchased through the department, so you may see the invoice go through the department, but that wouldn't be put under our capital because basically it's not light department property, it's actually privately owned property.
it's reimbursement.
It's a reimbursement,
Yeah.
right. We'll order the transformer so we get the right one for our system and then, but these are basically all the ones that are ordered for our system.
In stock, dual voltage, some places. Been there, done that. So it looks good, Dan.
Thank you.
It really does.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Okay. Is there anything else on that subject, Dan?
Nope, I'm good.
Go to the next agenda item. Item number 5, review information from special meeting on generation. Okay, I'm assuming you're here for that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just have a little bit of an issue, that's all. I mean, you're perfectly welcome to come to the meeting. It's a public meeting. It's open to the public. So the only thing I don't want to do is give you an advantage over the other two presenters to us this morning. I would like to have it so that it's equal.
Absolutely.
So if we really can't converse with you on the subject at this point,
Sure.
but you're certainly welcome to stay at the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, I understand, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for understanding. So, I thought all three presentations were offered something. They were all different,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they brought different things to the table. And I haven't had a chance to really go through these presentations yet. I get tied up with some other town business this afternoon.
Okay.
So when I left our meeting, I didn't get home till after 2 o'clock. So I didn't really get a chance to do that, but I think I want to think about it some more, I really do.
Okay.
And I think what's going to happen with me at least, I can't speak for the rest of the board, of course, but I think price will have a big impact as far as what the actual cost or estimate will be to do the project.
Right.
And then I really want to look at the presentations with the information we have now and pick out what they were trying to tell us. And kind of put that all together and compare one to the other and that kind of thing.
Right. They did give a lot of information,
Yeah.
a lot of good information, and they stimulated a lot of thought, I think, on different ways that we can approach this
Yes.
as a utility.
I have to agree with that, Dan. The things that were mentioned, I hadn't really even given much thought to.
Is there any questions that you want to ask of me right now as far as what you heard today, or and if it does pop up that there is a question for a presenter, you can definitely send me an email and I can send it out to the presenter and then
Okay.
get that information back to the, if like when you review the presentations.
Yes, yeah.
Any questions, just send an email to me and I'll forward it off to each presenter and we can get answers through that way. Because I feel like this is a process that we're gonna take our time on. And not to say that we don't want to get this project done, but I think it's something that deserves a lot of thought.
I think it has to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know particularly the last presenter, they were talking about cogen and heat and so forth and so on. And I mean, we're really not at that level, I don't think. Probably the only one that would even be interested would be Market Basket.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, there isn't anything else that I know of, unless we can get the whole of Forest Ridge, but I would think that may not be possible. I mean, there's different businesses there, and they do different things, and some of them even changed hands by now,
Right.
so.
And keep in mind, this would be it would be a peaking unit. So it
Yes.
would be running at times when a lot of businesses are in you know, during the day. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to, I don't know what I was just trying to say, but during the day when the businesses are open, that's probably when the generator will be running.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. And I don't know if that's quite right for us because of that fact. That
I
it's
think you're
only,
right. I don't think it'll be productive enough. I mean, like they mentioned, if you had a hospital, that's ideal,
Mhm.
because they're open 24 hours a day, they're doing all things all the time, and that would be a good load factor. But we don't have anything like that, other than Market Basket. And Market Basket cuts back at night,
Mhm.
particularly, although they are a decent load factor
They are, and they
with the refrigeration. So,
with the refrigeration, and also, I mean, keep in mind that their cooling and heating runs even when the store is empty.
right.
So it may, that may be a good load for that. I'm not sure. I think it's a learning curve for all of us to
Absolutely.
take our time and learn more about this subject before we.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, refrigeration is just critical to a place like Market Basket
Right.
or a Shaw's or a Stop and Shop. I mean, they just, it's so critical. I mean, if you lose refrigeration, you only have so much time to get back online. And a lot of the stores have generators
Inside.
inside.
And Market Basket does have an inside generator.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I
up in
didn't
the-
know
I
that.
don't know if you've been up into the refrigeration room.
No.
It's out in the back, up on the second level. There's actually a second level out there. And they do have a generator in that room.
How much
Okay.
how much of the refrigeration does it?
I don't know what the capacity is of it.
Yeah. I wouldn't think it could run that whole store.
It may not.
Yeah, it can
No,
only
it'd have
probably only certain refrigeration because it just cost prohibitive.
Yeah, the room up there is basically the refrigeration room where all the compressors are
Right.
and all the other stuff. And they do have a generator there, but I'm not sure how much it'll carry. It may only be for emergency lighting, for that
Right.
matter. I really don't know.
And that's another thing too, is that talking today and listening to the presenters, there's a lot of discussion out in the utility business about microgrids.
But what?
Microgrids, and actually islanding, which would mean if in the case of emergencies or if we had enough generation to separate ourselves from the grid. In case of emergencies would be if the transmission system went down,
Yeah.
having generation in Raleigh to supply critical loads.
Back in the day, we didn't have to worry about it. The
Right.
blackout of 64, 65,
Yeah.
we never even knew it happened. Didn't till I went home. We worked all day long, did everything we needed to do, went home that afternoon, put on the TV, and all of the North East black. Ipswich and Raleigh are all lit up.
Nice.
They had the generation,
Yeah, yeah.
so they didn't even know it.
Wow.
And in this day and age, it's become such a critical piece of everybody's lives with electricity nowadays.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Years ago, the lights would go out, people would call you and say the lights are out, you'd get down, they'd come out with a cup of coffee and a piece of apple pie, and, say, oh, thank you for putting it back on, and off we go. Today, they cannot even drive their automobiles without electricity,
That's right.
and those are the gasoline-powered ones.
Mm.
And if you don't believe me, just go up to the intersection of Route 1 and 133 when the lights are out,
Hmm.
because they cannot get through that intersection.
No.
No.
It's unbelievable. And there's more and more people, particularly in the boomers time frame, that depend on it for oxygen and all kinds of things
Yes.
that are electric powered. So it's really not the way it used to be.
No.
It's much more important today than it was.
So I would I would say we look at the information that was presented to us, and at our October meeting, have this on the agenda as well to discuss this further, and talk about a time frame that we may want to start this process rolling, because if it is something that we want to pursue fairly quickly, the Maytown meeting is coming up.
Right.
The warrant, if not already open, is
The Maytown meeting, well, it won't be open till probably, just after the first of the year.
February, I think we open it
Okay.
up about the second week in February, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I think that's correct.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
And that'll
We
be
do have a
here.
time frame we have to follow to get everything put together and then get it advertised and all of that other
Mhm.
stuff, so. And the special that's coming up in October 27th,
Right.
is already, the warrant's already closed. on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
So I mean, if this is something that we were really seriously thinking about progressing, that the Maytown meeting would be the time to do it.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of information this morning. I think it was really good. Different type of proposals, what they presented to us. I guess I want to put you on the spot, but I will. What was your gut feeling? Don't ask me.
It's all right. It's nice, relaxing music. So
It is. It mellows us out a little bit.
I think getting more information is critical,
Mhm.
and the way the presenters presented it, and not singling anybody out.
Mhm.
I believe getting the proper information and moving along slowly that way is probably a key for us,
Mhm.
and not jumping into right now doing an RFQ for 2 megawatts of generation. I think that's rushing it a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah,
I believe getting the information, like I said, is critical to the process going forward and making a good decision for us.
yeah.
Without the information, I think looking at paybacks, looking at real numbers, I think is important for us to make that decision.
Yes, I agree, Dan. And I guess one question I had after the meeting, I happened to think about this, is gas supply.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they've got
Well,
coming down through here. I know there's a main that comes out of Haverhill. Comes down Haverhill Street, goes down 133, and eventually winds up on Cape Ann.
mm-hmm.
And that's always been there like that. That was when it was Haverhill Gas Company. That was their main.
Yeah, I believe that's a high pressure main.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and we've been issuing road opening permits like crazy this last year for gas installations.
Okay.
I would say we probably had 15 anyways, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
probably even more. I know, I even went to gas this past winter. Kinda had
Okay.
to because the furnace wasn't doing too good, but I'm pleased with it.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's, you don't have to worry about it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's not like, if you put diesel generation and you always gotta fill those tanks up all the time.
Yeah.
But if you get gas, you know you have a supply.
I'm paying a
Well-
third what I was paying for oil.
Yes and no. Only because unless they fix the infrastructure problem,
Yeah.
there's not necessarily enough gas to go around at critical times during the winter time.
Right. Or
So,
when there's an issue, somebody digs into it or whatever.
but talking distributed generation and not something that is bid into the market or anything like that, that's critical to run, it's not so much of an issue. Because if there's a day, the worst that'll happen is our peak will go up and we won't be able to shave that load.
Right, that particular day. But generally, luckily, in the cold weather, we don't generally peak.
No,
Years
correct.
ago, we did.
Right.
Years ago, we were a winter peaker.
hmm But I mean there's a lot. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things to consider on a cold winter day.
Mhm.
Is it worth running the generator with a gas supply that's going to cost you
X number of dollars more.
X
Right,
X number
right.
of dollars, or is it
And
you
as a matter of
pay
fact, that same transmission line went by your power station. And in the wintertime, they could not get gas. Summertime, they'd get all the gas they wanted
Mhm.
to run those generators. But in the wintertime, they had to use oil exclusively
Right.
because they couldn't get a contract to even get gas in the wintertime. So,
But that is something that will be discussed during the planning process,
Yes.
or during, I mean, as a, lack of words here, as a,
Part of the process.
it's a critical. what do I
Well,
call
without gas, we don't go anywhere.
it? Right.
Might as well say it.
No, it's a critical part of the process. That would kill the actual,
Fatal flaw.
fatal flaw, thank you,
Yeah.
Dick.
Deal-
It-
deal-
yeah.
It would be a deal breaker, it really would,
Yeah.
if we couldn't
Yeah.
get the contract for the gas.
So, but that's what I think. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, we were talking about distribution to bring gas up into the northeast. I don't know, you know, I used to see the tankers all the time down in Everett. They would come in, the LNG tankers. I don't know if they're making the runs from Libya like they were over.
They
I don't think too much is coming out of Libya right now.
They don't talk about it very much. I
No,
know
they
used to-
don't.
They used to get a warning every time they came in, particularly after 9/11.
And they were coming in at, I forget the rate. I mean, it was something like every 11 days or something, a tanker was coming in.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But it's not there anymore because of, you know, all the fracking and everything.
they go where the money is,
Right.
where the price is, and the price not here is not where the price point's not here. They can get it, you know, at a higher price elsewhere.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the equation, is to look at distribution
Mhm.
up here for gas and see if it's feasible.
And that typically isn't an easy process if we gotta add a main. I mean, the high-pressure main goes right by the Daniels Road, so
Right.
it's only a short hop down there to get to the station.
Yep. And that'd be an easy fix.
Yeah. But,
But then you limit yourself to, you're not combined heat and power anymore. You're regular distributed generation. There's nobody down there that's going to take the heat.
no, not at all.
And then we talked about this morning, which you know, whether you go 20% or 40%, you know, which is really 50%, as you explained. Yeah, I know it's confusing the public, but we're gonna have to talk about that to the public and have them understand what we're trying to do
Yeah.
for the town.
And basically, this is just the first round. I mean, this
Yeah.
is just the preliminary. We just had the thought that we wanted to look into it, and
And could
this
there
was our
be
first
some-
meeting with some people that could explain it to us and give us some information.
And
So-
could there be something else besides the three that we received today? I don't know.
Well, when we start the process, it's going to be a public process, so we'll have to be. For a feasibility study, not so much. It's only probably a $10,000 study, maybe a little bit more. But so I mean, when you get into RFPs and RFQs and sealed bids and things like that, and advertising, and then you bring in other people that we may not have even considered up front here. I mean, the vendors that we were presenting today were people that I've been kind of dealing with and talking with, and
Right.
you know, and not just out of, you know, seeing their name and calling them up and saying, yeah, can you come in and present to the board, and you know, and that type of thing. But there is, I'm sure, a number of different people that will, you know, probably.
I felt when after I heard all three presentations, well, I didn't hear the last one, but I felt a little bit inadequate listening, because I think I need more education and to fully understand what we're gonna do. If we're gonna present this to the public, I don't wanna, you know.
Right. And I think because there's 40 municipals in the state, we can certainly find out what they've been doing and get their opinion as far as what's out there and what they've been dealing with and that kind of thing too.
Okay.
So, you know, rather than reinvent the wheel,
Yeah.
get some advice from them. I mean, it's a pretty close-knit group, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a something distributed generation. It's not that up and coming where a lot of municipalities have actually gone to the actual project's end and installed.
Mhm.
There are a number of us looking at it.
Yeah.
As far as actually installing it, there's not.
Not that many out there
No,
yet.
I mean, there's a bunch that went solar, but that's a different animal than what we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, it's classified as distributed generation, but it's not.
It's different.
It's different.
It's a
It's a
different
different
product.
product, right?
Yeah.
Different product, and
Yeah.
And as we spoke today, I was really surprised at the first presentation when it showed the number of generators in a small area. You know, I mean, like as I said this morning, I remember the big GE, turbines that that those suckers were unbelievable. And here we are with an area, we're putting 5 into basically the same area.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, 1.5, 2 megawatt Caterpillar diesel is basically a trailer truck size.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not very big.
They're not big. They're not
No.
huge. No.
But they are noisy. They really are. They use them down the fair
Yep.
for the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
They get them parked out back there, man. They make a lot of noise.
But the new, I don't know. I was impressed with what I saw. Everything is being miniaturized, anyways.
So I think it's an up and coming technology.
Mhm.
It's they got to meet the ignition requirements and all that stuff. So I mean, there's been a lot of research put into that package
Yep.
to make it work. So
I guess my perspective is the more you can educate me, Dan, the better.
Okay.
Okay. The more information you can give me. I think that's
Okay.
what I want.
All right. I guess we'll start with reviewing the different proposals that were given us, our PowerPoint presentation that were given us today. And then, if you have any questions before the next
Sure.
meeting, please email
we
me,
can put them together
and we can, yeah,
have Dan get some information.
But
for
if
us.
you got something that, you come across that can clarify what we got today,
okay,
gladly send it along.
okay.
Okay.
Good and bad?
Good and bad. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you have to take that.
Well,
Okay.
if we're gonna present this to the public.
Yes.
Okay, let's have both sides of the coin,
Mm-hmm.
and,
I agree.
so that we can put it out there before the people, because they're the ones that are gonna make the decision on this,
Right.
the final decision.
Final decision.
And the more information we give them, when we first started to talk about this in the commission here, we were really, going out on thin ice, trying to put this all together. And I think it's a great idea, but I want to make sure we're doing, it's going to be
Well-
cost effective.
Right.
The residents in town, we have new people in town,
Mm-hmm.
and it has grown. And some of those people out there may know all about this.
That's right.
And you don't want to stand up in front of town meeting and make a statement, and have them get up to the microphone and say, you guys are completely wrong, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna do this,
Yeah,
not gonna do
that's
that,
right.
and I work for so-and-so and such, and
Yeah.
we'd look stupid. So we do have to have our.
But we also want to
facts
say,
lined up.
excuse me.
save them money.
Oh, yes, yes.
We've been
Yep.
fortunate, I think, especially this past summer. I mean, we didn't have any really peak loads to worry about. But, if we have like some of the hot summers that we've had,
Oh, yeah. It only takes one day,
That's right, one day, and you go over that,
and you're stuck with it for a year.
you're stuck with it for the year, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. The rates, and that's something we need to get across. I mean, we try to inform as many people as we possibly can, but yet there's always gonna be that gap. And I think when we start having hearings and stuff, that we get people in, and they can understand that this is about saving them money
Yeah.
in the long run.
Yeah.
Well, that's really our objective, is to save the customer money and to keep the cost down.
And to
Basically.
inform them so that they know where we're trying to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. That was good this morning, Dan.
Good, I'm glad you
Yeah,
enjoyed
so
it.
It was
Well,
very interesting to hear various concepts. So, do our homework.
yeah, that's what they do.
Anything else?
No,
Nope, I haven't met anything else.
Okay,
At the end of the evening, Mr. Chairman.
we'll go to Article 6, which is adjournment,
Would you like a motion, Mr. Chairman?
please.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded to adjourn, and it does take precedence, you know. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Dick, for coming by. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
So is there anything else we can do?